Hi, my name is Kyra, and for my personal project, I chose to explore how beauty, specifically makeup, can become more accessible to people with disabilities. When we speak about accessibility, we often think of people with disabilities and only the challenges they face. But that is not what accessibility is about. It is about inclusion for all and increasing everyone's independence and freedom. Typically, when I bring up the conversation of accessible beauty and my belief that inclusive makeup is important, people tend to be dismissive, thinking that makeup is shallow and only meant to make yourself look better. But that is not the case. Makeup is a way for people to express themselves, and many see it as a way of choosing how they present themselves to the rest of the world. When you grab that brush in the morning, your face becomes your canvas and anything is possible. Yes, you may choose to put on a bit of blush and carry on with your day, but you could also decide to completely alter your appearance. It is up to you. I believe that everyone deserves to have that choice. That is why I chose to examine the world of accessible makeup and identify companies that are taking strides towards innovating and producing products that make beauty inclusive for everyone. Have you ever wondered if the products you are using are accessible for others? Let's begin by unpacking the challenges that people with disabilities currently face. First, let us take a look at visual disabilities. This category comprises any visual impairment. This can be blindness or low vision. Some specific examples include glaucoma, cataracts, retinitis pigmentosa, and AMD, which stands for age-related macular degeneration. Having low or no vision makes it difficult to see what product you are using. Even if one can identify the product, unclear designs such as small font and monochromatic color schemes make it extremely hard to understand instructions and shades. Furthermore, it is difficult to know if the placement of one's tools and products is correct. What are some of the features of makeup that can be adapted to be more accessible to people with visual impairment, you ask? Let's talk about the three big elements that can have a large impact on the user. Firstly, when it comes to formulation, products that are buildable are usually better, as one misstep will not be obvious and there is more room to adjust later on. From a packaging standpoint, the main goal is clarity. The colors used should be high contrast to increase readability. It is also helpful to use Braille, though the majority of visually impaired people do not read Braille. Different products being different forms and sizes can make it easier to differentiate them. One of the easiest steps towards accessibility that a company can make is ensuring that their products are non-rolling. From an instructional point of view, brands can create QR codes for each product that take the user to a video or audio guide on how to use the product. The next category we will discuss is upper extremity disabilities. This refers to conditions affecting the hand, wrist, arm, elbow, and shoulder. Some specific examples include spinal cord injuries, which lead to partial or complete paralysis, congenital limb deficiencies, rotator cuff tears, amelia, and genetic syndromes like Robert syndrome and Poland syndrome. Having an upper extremity disability can make it hard to hold or lift products that require multiple hands to use. It can make it troublesome to not only get a solid grip on tools and makeup, but then also apply them precisely to the face. Some of the features that can make makeup more accessible in this category are products that can stand on their own, products that have a greater surface area to hold onto, products that have ergonomic shapes, and packaging that does not require much force to open. The third category I want to cover today is impaired dexterity and mobility. This is quite a broad section that comprises any sort of disorder or condition that can cause stiff joints, lower grip strength, limited dexterity, less control of extremities, and sometimes shakiness. Some specific examples include Parkinson's, arthritis, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, essential tremor, muscular dystrophy, Huntington's disease, and side effects of stroke. The challenges that people with these disabilities may face are not being able to open and close some products and having difficulty moving them towards the face. Moreover, it can be arduous to precisely apply makeup and create sharp lines. Twisting products like lipstick and mascara can be especially demanding, as it requires quite a lot of wrist mobility and grip strength. So, what are some features that can help in this category? Well, from a formulation standpoint, products that are, once again, more forgiving are better. Buildable formulas ensure that if a jerky movement happens, it won't be a big issue to go in and correct it. When it comes to packaging, texture plays a big role as it helps people to grip the product. One of the easiest switches a company can make in this regard is moving from shiny, slippery plastic finishes to matte ones. In addition, greater surface area makes it easier for those who cannot curl their fingers a lot or hold tight grips for long periods to hold and open their products. So, now that we know what challenges come up when using makeup for people with disabilities, let's investigate how the market is responding to this need. Today, we will cover 5 companies that are active in this space. Let's start off with a company with a massive fan following, Rare Beauty, founded in 2019 by actress and singer Selena Gomez. Rare Beauty partners with the Made Accessible initiative and works with the Casa Colina Research Institute to make products more accessible. Of course, a large part of accessibility is also availability of said products. Hence, part of their work with the Casa Colina Research Institute focuses on making accessible makeup widely available in the beauty industry. Rare Beauty has 3 main focuses when making inclusive makeup. First, easy-to-use packaging. Secondly, packaging finishes that are easy to grip securely. And third, applicators that are easy to wield and allow for precise maneuvering. They also have a section on their website dedicated to showcasing their most accessible products. This list includes the Soft Pinch Tinted Lip Oil, the Positive Light Liquid Luminizer, the Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer, the Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation, and of course, arguably their most popular product, the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. So, you may be wondering, what makes these products accessible? Well, they all share these features. First, like I mentioned before, these products all have matte finishes to prevent fingers from slipping. Secondly, they designed an easy-to-remove applicator. The spherical cap of these products was designed to allow users to use their whole hand to operate them. Finally, the size of the products themselves. All the products are large to make them easier to hold. This is especially visible in their foundation and highlighter. A product that stands out in terms of design is the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. Like the others, the size and finish helps users to grip it. However, as this product is in a squeeze bottle, the shape of it has been designed for easy finger placement, which helps increase leverage when squeezing product out. The cap has also been designed to be opened with one hand. Now, let's look at the British brand Cole Creatives. Cole Creatives is not only at the forefront of innovation in the accessible beauty space, they take it a step further with their charity called Cole Cares. This charity focuses on teaching people how to apply makeup. They mostly work with transgender people, people with vitiligo, or people who have suffered from burns. They also run free workshops for people with visual and motor disabilities to teach them how to apply makeup. Every product on their website features an audio description and tutorial. This is very helpful for people who experience visual disabilities and is one of the things I mentioned earlier. We will talk about 2 key products offered by Cole Creatives. First being their makeup brushes. We have spent a lot of time speaking about products and how they can be more inclusive. However, the tools you use are just as or even more important. Cole Creatives have created the Flex collection. This is a set of 5 brushes. What is special about them is that they can stand by themselves. This is helpful for people with limited mobility and visual disabilities. The shapes of the handles themselves are ergonomic and quite large, enabling people with less dexterity to comfortably hold the brushes. In addition, the brushes are flexible, which helps you use them at different angles depending on what is comfortable for you. The second product they have launched are Quickie Stickies, which they describe as easy-to-use adhesive stencils. These stickies were initially designed for eyeliner, eyeshadow, and brows, but they have since expanded to address more steps in people's makeup routines. The stickers are reusable and made of biodegradable rice paper. They have embossed texture on the back of each sheet to make it easy for people who are visually impaired to identify the different styles of stickers. They also made a contouring collection of the Quickie Stickies. These stickers make it easier to contour and apply eyeliner for people with shaky hands. Eye makeup can be especially difficult as it requires precision and steady hands, so these stickers are a big help. Now let's move on to the next company, L'Oreal. L'Oreal is one of the most influential beauty companies in the world, so it is encouraging to see them taking strides towards making beauty inclusive. In 2023, they launched Hapta, the world's first handheld computerized makeup applicator. Hapta is designed for people with hand motion disorders. It is specifically made to help people who have difficulty raising their arms due to limited mobility, have limited grip strength, have limited wrist mobility, have a lack of sensation in their fingers, and experience tremors in their hands. So, what is Hapta? It is a motor stabilizing device powered with AI. It was created to assist users in applying lipstick. The device moves your lipstick 360 degrees in real time, adjusting to the way you are holding it and the position of your mouth. It utilizes advanced sensors and a self-leveling hinge system to counteract unintentional movements. Currently, the product is only compatible with Lancome lipsticks, though L'Oreal says they are working on making it more universal. It is worth mentioning that this device costs between $150 and $200 in USD, which reduces its accessibility. I had the opportunity to experience the innovation behind some of these products when I attended an event hosted by L'Oreal on the 7th of November in Singapore. This event was the grand finale of the Big Bang Beauty Tech Innovation Program, bringing together the top 10 finalists of a startup competition. The event showcased L'Oreal's innovations, including Hapta. I was able to not only witness a demonstration, but also try it out for myself.
So this device that you can see in the hand of this woman is a device that is powered with AI and a mechanic and is stabilizing the movement so that you can apply with a perfect precision the lipstick. And it's fantastic because we have amazing feedback. We partner during the Olympic Games also with the Paralympic champion. And what they tell us about the level of empowerment it gives them is very profound. It's not something that is superficial, it's really profound. We are talking here about empowerment, about freedom, about autonomy, and this is the beauty of this project.
So this is our first makeup application for those people who lack of strength on their hands, wrists, and arms. So for the easy application for the makeup. First, you can take the lipstick and then place the lipstick here. Adjust the angle face to you, and then you can place the adapter here. So ready for like 5 to 6 seconds, you will activate the machine.
And it like can move 360 degrees, right?
Yes. So after 5 seconds, you will activate, and then you can just hold your hand here. So every movement you make, you will move this out.
The companies we've covered so far have been big organizations with greater means. But what about people who experience these disabilities and have come up with solutions for the larger community? Enter Guide Beauty. Guide Beauty was founded by Terry Bryant, a celebrity makeup artist who at the height of her career began to experience a loss of dexterity. Eventually, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. This led her to create Guide Beauty to help others in applying their makeup. Let's start with the Guide Wand, arguably their most innovative product. It was made to help apply makeup, in particular eyeliner, lip liner, and false lashes. The distinct features of the Guide Wand make it truly game-changing, as it enables users to achieve their desired eyeliner look consistently, which is something everyone struggles with. Guide Beauty also has their Easy on the Eyes brush collection, which features short handles to be closer to the face, giving the user more control. The brushes have a rounded ergonomic base to stop products from rolling whilst being easy to hold. Finally, they have the Guide Ring, which protrudes from the brush and helps to create a secure hold. Let's move on to our fifth and final company, Bystorm Beauty. Bystorm Beauty was founded by Storm Menzies. Storm injured her dominant hand, and one day when she went to go do her makeup, she found it was quite difficult due to her loss in motor skills and dexterity. She also has minor cerebral palsy. She decided to buy a 3D printer and began testing out ideas for inserts that would give her more surface area and texture when holding her cosmetic products. Thus, Bystorm Beauty was born. Currently, she has made 2 makeup inserts called Betty and Margie. They both have Braille on them to help people with visual disabilities identify them. The shape of the inserts are very universal, which makes them compatible with thousands of products. The hole of the insert gradually gets smaller the deeper into the product, allowing for a wide range of diameters. This means that you do not need to keep buying different inserts for different products. Betty and Margie are made of non-slip hypoallergenic medical-grade silicone. Similar to Cole Creatives, both products feature audio and visual instructions on how to use them on their website. Betty and Margie are designed for anyone who finds traditional makeup packaging tricky or uncomfortable. They may be especially helpful if you experience challenges with dexterity and fine motor control, experience wrist or hand pain like with arthritis, have tremors or shaky hands, find it difficult to curl your hands tightly, get tired hands when holding small tubes, or if you just want a comfier, steadier grip. Betty is a round makeup insert with vertical textured grooves for grip. It can fit most cylindrical products like nail polish, lipstick, mascara, lip glosses, and concealers. Margie is a wide, paddle-shaped makeup insert. Like Betty, it can fit most cylindrical products. Margie is designed for people with limited finger mobility and joint pain. Throughout my journey of exploring accessible beauty, I wanted to get first-hand accounts from people in these businesses to truly understand how they made these products. I contacted several companies. I'm very grateful that I was able to interview Bystorm Beauty's founder, Storm Menzies, and understand more about the process of creating her products. Let's get into the interview.
I bought a 3D printer and just taught myself how to 3D model. And I was like, I'm sure I'll be able to figure this out. Like, it can't be that hard. And I just started watching heaps of YouTube and was like, and like YouTube's so amazing. Like, just like help me like step by step kind of learn. And then I just started making like a whole heap of, I just started printing all these shapes, being like, okay, can this work? Can that work? And they're all actually have a lot of my prototypes here. So I was using them for something today. I would say this is like a quarter of them. I don't know if you can see like in there.
Oh, I see.
I'll put my laptop thing down so that helps it all. There's like
So like different shapes and sizes and everything.
But they started off like this. See how it's like plastic?
Yeah.
And like there's no squish to it. And I was like, okay, this could work. It's the right shape. But how then do I make it into something that's actually like going to be squishy and flexible? Right. And so then that turned into me figuring out how to make like molds. We tried lots of different shapes because what kept coming up like when I was having these like focus groups was that I thought originally I'd have a different shape for every product. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have a shape for nail polish. So you can paint your nails. And I'm going to have a shape for a brush.
Right.
And I'm going to have a shape for a lot of them are broken, so they're not going to look very good. But like, this is one for a mascara. So you could put like you could squeeze this back there and put a mascara in and then hold it in between your fingers. So it's easier to hold. And again, it just allows you to have a full grip. And so I was making all these different shapes and I was like, oh, these are going to be like, I'm going to need one for everything. And then a girl said to me, can't I just use them across all the same products? Like, why do I have to have a different one for different products? And I was like, yeah, okay, that makes so much sense. That's going to make it so much easier. But then the hard part of all of that was actually designing this like star-shaped opening. It looks really simple, but it took so many iterations. Their final product has basically like a tapered star shape that allows you to like measure, like allows you to fit like a pretty wide range of diameters in, because the smaller ones can fit right at the back, but then the bigger ones have like the flexibility to stretch there because of like how the shape is designed. But it did originally start like that. Right. Originally started, actually started like that. I was like, oh yeah, that will work. We can just kind of like squeeze it and fit it in, but it didn't really work. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's got to be like a slit. And then that kind of didn't work. And then I was like, okay, what about, we tried so many different shapes. It was just trying lots of things and talking to people with disability, being like, what, like, does this work? Does this not work? What about this works? What could be done better? Okay. All of those things.
So a lot of like hands-on communication people while making it, like in the start as well, like asking people things, right? Okay, cool.
Exactly. But yeah, that's really how it started, and I learned so much about accessibility through that journey and through different avenues of accessibility that I just was like, oh my god, I've never thought about this before. Like Oh, that makes so much sense. And my products aren't perfect from an accessibility standpoint. They definitely make it better, but they're not perfect.
I'd love to learn more about like the 3D printing aspect, because you started making it and then you did the molds. So when you were learning, like what kind of software, did you find it kind of hard to like pick that side up and like learn it, or was it a steep learning curve, or how did that
It was
go?
a very steep learning curve because I used a really difficult software. So, which I just didn't know. My partner's an engineer, so he gets one free with the uni, and so I just used his, which is SolidWorks. This was the first round of 3D printing that I did, and that was March 2023.
Do you have plans to release like the other designs that you thought about, like with the brushes and the different shapes and things?
So, the hardest part is actually just like figuring out what's next. It's really hard to figure out because there's so many ideas. So it's trying to figure out what one should I actually do next,
Right.
because there's so many. I think the next thing that I do is actually going to be an insert for these, so it can have a smaller. So like for something like an eyeliner, for instance, you could like put eyeliner in there, or a
like maybe
eyeliner
a precise brush or something, like a tiny like brush.
Because at the moment, this isn't really it doesn't work well. So essentially, like, would need something just a little bit bigger so then, like, you can actually use this. I'm just not really sure how useful it actually is, to be honest. So, and like, still working on designs. But yeah, there's probably going to be like a whole range of products that come out. I'm working on some stickers at the moment. So instead of people needing like a full assist, they're like tactile stickers, so they stick on the surface of products. So then it just gives it a bit easier to open without needing
grip and like texture.
Exactly. So it's just like a little bit of extra grip, but not a full support.
Yeah. And that way they can just keep it in different products, and you don't have to like remove the like insert or the tool or anything.
Exactly.
Cool. So how did you kind of find like what textures worked? Was that like kind of like a trial and error, like with the focus group, or like was there
lots of trial and error. Lots of like, so a lot of people were doing things like this, and I was doing this to my own products, right? Like putting elastic bands around things because it adds grip and texture, so it makes it easier to like open something, particularly when it's like a shiny tube. I was also trying to make the boxing more accessible as well. So I was working on like I was making like, a mailing bag. Trying to make a mailing bag more accessible by having like an easier open like slit on it. So doing like lots of like kind of testing of that to be like, okay, is that going to make it easier to open? Lots of different things. So
that was actually my next point, honestly. Like after we get to this like testing with people and kind of getting that feedback, like how to design packaging, because online I see like when people are reviewing it for accessibility, like they start just by opening it and they talk about like that aspect too. Was there anything like different that you tried to implement in your packaging just to like, because I see online a lot of times people are like opening it and they're talking about different features of like boxes itself so that they can even just removing it, if that can be easier. So.
Exactly, and that was one of my things, because I was like, okay, I'm making this accessible product, but then it's going in an inaccessible box. This just makes no sense to me. So I did design my own packaging. So like when I was originally trying to design like a shelf box, and then I was like, all of this stuff is going to be online. Why am I thinking, I like first designed like a really easy to open box, but then I was like, it's going to go in another box, and that other box is not going to be easy to open. So like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So then I just took like a traditional mailing box, and I added an easy tear strip there. So it made it a lot easier to open. So instead of, like any kind of mailing box is really challenging to open, because they're usually like covered in tape and things like that, and that's just really hard, and not everyone can use scissors. So the idea was, okay, let's see if I can have an easy tear strip and then up the top there's a ribbon, so you
Yeah,
can put your
I've seen
fingers
this, yeah.
in and easier open like that.
And that way you
So
don't
then-
need like this kind of motion, you just need like that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. When I was designing my products, there was no accessible beauty guidelines. But I was lucky enough to contribute to the first ever published accessible beauty guidelines.
Wow.
Because I'd done all this research myself, and I'd done so much of like the product design process that I knew so much. So yeah, I got to contribute to it. It's by Guide Dogs Australia, and it's the only published literature that exists on how to make beauty products more accessible.
So it's like more specific kind of like breakdown of the things that need to happen. Cool.
It's very focused for blind and low vision users, but there are like, I did a lot of the parts on like dexterity and fine motor control and those things. So how on earth did you come across me? That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first couple companies that came up like online. I was checking out social media, I was looking on the websites, and
SEO is working.
yeah. So yeah, that's how.
Oh my God, I'm just so happy. It's just been such a joy talking to you.
Today we spoke about what challenges people with disabilities face when doing their makeup. We then covered how products can not only be adapted, but also invented to solve this issue. We saw how different companies of varying sizes are incorporating inclusive design features into their products, from companies who adjust the texture of their products to companies that engineer brand new tools. With new advancements in technology and AI-enabled innovation, we must ask ourselves, will product innovation be limited to bigger companies with deeper pockets? How can we utilize technology to scale advancements made at the grassroots level? And finally, what would it take for accessible beauty to become an industry norm? I hope this video taught you something new and made you consider how makeup should be accessible to everyone. Thank you.